बेहद ग्लैमरस और एवरग्रीन एक्ट्रेस सिमी ग्रेवाल के बारे में यह कहा जाता है कि इनका लुक जैसा इनके करियर की स्टार्टिंग में था वैसी ही ये आज भी नजर आती हैं। मेरा नाम जोकर के बोल्ड सीन हो या कर्ज का नेगेटिव रोल, हर बार स्क्रीन पर सरप्राइज करने वाली एक्ट्रेस सिमी ग्रेवाल और रतन टाटा कभी एक दूसरे से रिलेशनशिप में थे और वो भी लंबे वक्त तक, यहाँ तक कि वे एक दूसरे से शादी भी करना चाहते थे, लेकिन किसी वजह से बात नहीं बन पाई और उनका यह ड्रीम कभी भी पूरा न हो सका और एक मोड़ पर आकर दोनों के रास्ते जुदा हो गए। इसके बाद रतन और सिमी अपने अपने कामों में बिजी हो गए, हालांकि वे एक दूसरे की आज भी उतनी ही रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं। सिमी ग्रेवाल ने अपने इस रिलेशन के टूटने की वजह पर तो कभी बात नहीं की, लेकिन एक इंटरव्यू में उन्होंने रतन टाटा संग अपने रिलेशनशिप और अफेयर पर खुलकर बात की थी। उन्होंने कुछ सालों पहले ई टाइम्स को दिए इंटरव्यू में बताया था कि वह रतन टाटा को डेट करती थी और दोनों का काफी लंबा रिलेशनशिप रहा था। उस इंटरव्यू रतन टाटा की तारीफ करते हुए सिमी ग्रेवाल ने कहा था, रतन और मेरा लंबा रिश्ता रहा है, वह एकदम परफेक्ट है, उनका सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर कमाल का है और वह एकदम परफेक्ट जेंटलमैन है। पैसा कभी भी उनके लिए अहम नहीं रहा, वह फॉरेन कंट्रीज में जितना रिलैक्स रहते हैं इतना इंडिया में नहीं रहते। सिमी ग्रेवाल किसी भी मौके पर रतन टाटा की तारीफ करने से नहीं चूकती और अक्सर रतन टाटा से जुड़ी तस्वीरें और पोस्ट शेयर करती रहती हैं। साल 2020 में सिमी ग्रेवाल ने सोशल मीडिया पर एक तस्वीर शेयर की थी जिसमें वह नामी इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट रतन टाटा के साथ नजर आई थी। इस तस्वीर के जरिए लोगों ने यह भी पहली बार देखा कि रतन टाटा अपने यंग एज में कितने गुड लुकिंग और कितने चार्मिंग थे। सिमी ने इस तस्वीर को शेयर कर कैप्शन में लिखा था, रतन टाटा से जब मैं पहली बार मिली थी तब वह कुछ ऐसे दिखते थे। सिमी द्वारा पोस्ट की गई इस तस्वीर को देखकर एक बार फिर से दोनों की लव स्टोरी की चर्चा सोशल मीडिया पर वायरल हो गई थी। सिमी ग्रेवाल ने साल 1988 में फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को अलविदा कह दिया था, जिसके काफी सालों बाद वे साल 1997 में अपना हिट शो रॉन्डेवू विद सिमी ग्रेवाल लेकर आई थीं, जो खूब चर्चित रहा था। यह एक सेलिब्रिटी इंटरव्यू शो था जिसमें दिग्गज एक्टर सिमी के सवालों पर खुलकर जवाब देते थे। यही वह शो था जिसमें अमिताभ बच्चन ने भी अपने रेखा और जया के रिश्तों पर बात की थी। सिमी ग्रेवाल और रतन टाटा का रिलेशनशिप कितना मैच्योर है, इसका अंदाजा आप इससे भी लगा सकते हैं कि सिमी के बुलावे पर रतन टाटा भी सिमी ग्रेवाल के शो में आए थे, जहां उन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी के कई राज पर बेझिझक चर्चा की थी।
I want to thank you for accepting my invitation. I know how media aloof you are, so can I just say quite simply, I'm honored by your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Simi. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Do you remember when we first met? Long back.
Yes.
You'd just come back from the US after graduating in architecture and structural engineering,
That's
wasn't it?
correct, yes.
Is that what you had planned to do with your life, to become an architect?
Yes, and in fact I worked in the US as an architect and as a structural engineer for a period of time after I graduated and had no intention of coming back.
So you were well settled there.
Well, I was not well settled, but I was happily employed there.
Then what happened?
My grandmother talked me into returning, or rather I returned because she wanted me back.
This is Lady Navajbai Tata.
That's right, that's right. She was at that time getting quite old and I'd been very close to her. My mother and father had divorced when we were my brother and I were quite young. And she brought us up. So I was quite close to her and she wanted me back. And so I came back for her or I would not have come.
Yes.
I happily came back.
Okay. After a few months, I remember you moved on to Jamshedpur.
Actually, after 15 days, I think, of returning, I was sent out to Jamshedpur.
What was it like then?
It seemed like everyone was concerned that I should not be treated differently. So I was told to stay in an apprentice hostel. And I worked on the shop floor for 6 months in Telco. And then for a couple of years in Tisco on the shop floor. I was attached to various production departments. I was in the blast furnaces, near the furnace, in the steel melting shops. Again, knew every nook and cranny of the Tisco works. It was terrible at that time, but if I look back on it, it's been a very worthwhile experience because I've spent years hand in hand with workers. I have mixed with them. I have eaten in their canteens. I have been attached to superintendents. Many of the people who are in management in TISCO today remember those days when this goofy young guy was walking the shop floors.
So actually, the Tata name didn't bring any privileges, did it?
No, in fact, I'd say it was a disadvantage. Here was someone who just come in from Los Angeles being told that you will not take your car to Jamshedpur, you will go by bicycle, and out of a sense of rebellion, I refused, and I'd walk to work every day.
Really?
So, those kinds of things are, looking back on those years, was a good thing.
Did you at any time feel any regret? What have I done? I mean, those lovely days in LA, and suddenly I'm in the middle of this.
Yeah, I almost went back 3 times in my life.
What stopped you?
I guess as time went on, the prospect, my grandmother died in 4 or 5 years after while I was still in Jamshedpur. And the ties to remain here were less. But I guess as you get involved, it becomes more difficult to pack a bag and move again.
Yeah. Did you ever put to use all the training that you had in architecture and structure?
No, not after I came back. I had the opportunity of designing and building a house for my mother, which still stands, and one house in Jamshedpur, but that's about all.
That's about
yeah.
it. So you were 25 when you moved to Jamshedpur. Do you feel life had surprised you? I mean, did you know how it would turn out?
No. No, it was an experience. It was both culturally an experience, work-wise was an experience.
Did you know where you were going?
No, that's why I almost went back. For 7, 8 years, I just didn't know where I was going.
Yeah. So it has surprised you the way it's turned out, hasn't it?
Yes, things started to change much later in life for me. That it seemed to have a direction. There seemed to be...
That you put in a very long apprenticeship, didn't you?
Yes, it seemed like an endless apprenticeship. And perhaps the change came when I got involved with Nelco, which was a small electronic company that nobody wanted to touch.
You were in a firefighting situation, weren't you?
That's right. So that was when things started to really become both challenging and interesting.
And that's when you started enjoying it.
And that's when I started enjoying it. After that, I never looked at going back.
What was it like working with Mr. G.R.D. Tata?
I just have to say one word. It was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
One looked at him first, in my case, with a certain degree of awe. I have to say I didn't know Jay in my younger days.
He's not directly related to you?
No, people have called him my cousin, my uncle, and so on,
Father
but we
even.
were really not related. And I really first got to know him while I was in Jamshedpur over our common interest in flying. And I set up a flying club at his behest in Jamshedpur, and that brought us a little closer together. And as years went on, we became closer, mostly through the bond of flying,
Okay.
and through his tremendous interest in new things, new technology, electronics, computers, etc., which gave us common ground to talk, and tremendous excitement over so many things of today's world.
Yes. And in those days?
In those days.
I can imagine. I saw a completely different side of him because I'd met him socially on a number of occasions. Found him very courtly, very generous in his praise. But what I really enjoyed was, we used to play games at a mutual friend's house.
Yes.
And he was wonderful at dumb charades.
I see. That's a side I never saw.
We were, in the beginning, we were always in awe of him.
Yeah.
But within an hour or so, he made us feel he was our age.
He was a wonderful human being, lovely human qualities, totally humble.
Very self-effacing.
He never would let anyone check him in, and when he flew, he would always stand in line at a check-in counter. That he drove his car home every evening. He often drove himself to work in the morning, and he was an Indian through and through. He was a very, very warm human being. I really got to know him and love him as time went on.
When were you first aware that he had chosen you as his successor?
Well, probably a few days before it happened.
How did he tell you?
Well, that's a little bit of a long story. We were in Jamshedpur together for a function, and I had to go to Stuttgart for some negotiations with Mercedes-Benz. And when I came back, I heard he'd had a heart problem, and he was in Breach Candy Hospital. He was there a week, and I'd see him every day, and then he was out on a Friday, and the following Monday I went to see him in the office. And he'd always start meetings by saying, well, what's new?
Okay.
And I said, well, Jay, I've been seeing you every day.
Yeah.
There's nothing new since I saw you last. And he said, well, I have something that's new that I want to tell you. Sit down. And he said, what has happened to me in Jamshedpur made me think that I need to step down. And I've decided that you should take my place. And then there were a few days more, and then he took it to the board.
That's on the 25th of March,
I don't remember the
1991.
day, but probably if you say that's the day, that's the day.
But people who were present at that meeting say they regretted not having a camera to record the events. It was a moving experience. Can you take me back to that meeting somewhat?
Well, I've heard many of my colleagues say that there was history that day because apart from the fact that he was stepping down from a position he'd held for, 40, 50 years, there was therefore a lot of emotion attached to his giving up this position in favor of someone. But the history and the emotion that everyone talks about is not that move. He then reminisced through his years at that meeting.
Okay. And
I can't reproduce any of that emotionally or otherwise, but that meeting went on, which is like an archival recount of all his days in Tata. Never his own praise, but just his experiences as he went through. And there was history that day. I think we all came out very moved.
I can imagine. It was the end of an era,
That's
the beginning
right.
of a
That's
new
right.
one.
That's right.
So what did you learn from him that you carry with you always?
What I learned from him, perhaps, and what I carry with me, is a sense of justice, which was always prevalent. He was always fair and just. He always did what he considered to be the right thing, irrespective of how difficult it was. And he stood up for principles, and he stood by people. He stood by me when I was in trouble in Nelco. So his value system, his simplicity, his sense of justice were all things that I think have stayed with me. And I hope I can emulate them even half as well as he was able to do through his life.
Talking about this value system, what I know of you and what I remember best about you from those early years was something that happened before you even met before you started working with Mr. G.R.D. Tata, so it was there in you in any case, was the fact that if you said something, Ratan, you always did it. I mean, in those days we were all very young, and even if it boiled down to small things like, if you said you'd phone, you would phone. If you said you'd write, you wrote. You always kept your word. And I feel that is an integral attribute of your personality. It's very important to you, isn't it?
It is, but I was dealing with someone who was in those days I looked upon as very attractive, and so it was. I was also driven by that. I can't say that I've been that honorable in terms of keeping my word on all sorts of things, but by and large,
You generally do.
I generally do. I tend to not say things loosely. I try to live up to whatever I've said, the commitments I've made.
After all these years, I know that if Ratan says it, you can count on it.
Well, thank you. That's a nice thing to hear.
But we all know that Tatas have always played it strictly by the rules, very ethically. Has this slowed down the rate of progress, do you think?
I think at times we have suffered. We have paid a price, if you might. I think we've also gained a great deal of respect. And what I would say, and I've told many, that there's something that is important to me, and that is to go to bed at night or to wake up in the morning feeling that we have not sacrificed our principles and that we have not subordinated our values to some short-term materialistic aims. And in some sort of perverse way, you as a group are respected because they feel that, well, you will not do that. When there's something that's that deals with the nation, or there's a calamity, people turn to Tatas.
Oh, yes.
And at other times, unfortunately, we feel we're discriminated against.
Like when?
When there are issues which relate to questionable ethics, projects that we feel we should get, which we don't, or which we find for subjective reasons someone else steps in. But all of that is forgotten when there is something that no one else is willing to do. Then one turns to us. And I think in a way that's an honor.
Rajiv Gandhi inherited a party which is almost as old as your company.
Mhm.
And he said he found a lot of resistance to change within his party. Have you found that in your company?
Oh yes, very much so. In fact, much of my time goes in questioning the unquestioned, if you might, of trying to convince people that there needs to be change when they don't agree. Most of our younger people would like to see change. Most of the elders would not like to see change, with a few exceptions. And in some cases you can be the champion of change. In other cases you've got to take the unpleasant route of being autocratic and forcing change.
Today, what is your agenda for Tatas?
We've set some goals. We'd like to be a group that has revenues of over 100,000 crores by the turn of the century or into the next century. Right now, I think we have a lot of consolidating to do. And more importantly, I think we have to be conscious of the community in which we live. A lot of emphasis is being given to the environment and making sure that we don't detract or deteriorate the environment in which we are. All our companies are very conscious of
yes.
Being good corporate citizens, if you might.
Running such a huge conglomerate must be stressful at times, Ratan.
It is, but it's something that you don't mind. We feel so proud.
How do you unwind?
Most of the unwinding in the last 10, 12 years has been taking my dog for a run or just getting out and having a change of pace.
What sort of music do you like?
Oh, I've always been fond of all types of music. Love jazz, I love classical music.
What about television? Do you watch television?
Yeah, quite a bit of late.
Oh, that's good. And
So
movies?
there's more variety to watch now. So
And what about movies?
also via television, I don't think I've been to a movie theater in ages, but
Do you see any Hindi movies?
you can't help but see them on television today.
I'd love to see the sight of Ratan Tata sitting watching a Hindi movie.
My Hindi's improved ever since I...
Can you remember any of the films that you've enjoyed?
No. They're all so violent. They're,
are.
you know, I think there's more ketchup
It's true.
that's spread in Hindi movies than there are in all the restaurants in Bombay. I am very irritating to be around when I watch television. I'm very impatient, and I watch 4 or 5 channels at the same time.
When you were very young, you used to even then hate ostentatious displays of wealth and things like that. And when you used to go to Campion School
Yeah.
in the family-driven roles, you used to shrivel up and die of embarrassment because you
Yeah,
hated that
it wasn't the
spotlight.
Rolls, it was the Delage, I remember.
Oh, okay.
And it was my grandmother's car, and it was a very old-fashioned car. And she had, it was one of these cars that where the driver sat, it was open and the back was closed.
Okay,
you
all
know,
right.
and big lights and tires on the outside. To me, it was such an ostentatious vehicle that I would walk home when it came, and I'd always ask her
Please
to send another car, but not that one.
I think children don't like having the spotlight on them.
That's right.
Isn't
That's
it?
right.
Because
Yeah.
Rajiv Ji also told me as well, when he was in Dehradun and his grandfather, the Prime Minister, would visit, he would be so embarrassed because the spotlight would be on him that he'd go and hide somewhere, just not to be there. People perceive you as being remote and a recluse in a way. It's not true, is it?
I think it is true. I think I suffer from that.
Why?
Well, I don't know. It comes from you're in the office all day, around a lot of people, a lot of telephone calls, and there's some sense of serenity in having a departure from that. You remember when we first met many years ago, walking on
the
Juhu
beach,
Beach and
yes.
so on was something I enjoyed.
I
I still
remember.
enjoy it.
Yes.
And there's something in that solitude. A lot of thinking gets done, and a lot of unwinding gets done in that process too.
But in those days you were not a loner. But people say you are now.
Yeah, because I think over time one becomes alone, and the job makes you a little lonely.
Do you trust people?
Yes, I think so. People may disagree, but I
You
think
do?
I do.
You tend to trust
Yes,
people.
yes.
Do you make new friends easily? Do you have?
Yes, yes.
Or do your friends tend to be from the earlier days?
No, many. In fact, I'm very poor at keeping up friendships.
Yeah, you
term-
can
you
say that
know.
again. Without a wife, without children, a family, what motivates you, Ratan?
I don't know what motivates me, but let me just stay with that for a minute. There are many times I feel lonely at not having a wife or a family, and sometimes I long for it. Sometimes I enjoy the freedom of not having to worry about the feelings of someone else or the concerns of someone else. And at other times it gets very lonely.
I mean, was it timing that?
Yeah, there's a whole series of things. Timing, my absorption in work at that time. There were very many things. I came very close to getting married a few times, and they didn't work out.
But there are, as they say, confinements and
Oh, yes,
consolations.
absolutely, absolutely.
So you must miss the consolations today.
Yeah.
It's not too late.
Oh, it's never too late.
Who are your heroes?
I don't know. One hero I've always had who no longer lives has been John Kennedy.
Oh, yes.
Of course, I was very much in the U.S. at that time. That person stands out still as very much my hero at that time, and continues to get me emotionally nostalgic about the days
That's true.
that I was there.
What makes you proud of being an Indian?
Well, I think I'm very proud of India. I'm proud to be an Indian. I love my country. I feel proud of what we do. I feel sad for what we don't do. But I just have a great national pride. I feel this country can really go places. I feel we're living at a very exciting point in this country's history. I'm very optimistic about where we are going, or where we can go. I hope we go there.
You know, Ratan, many years ago you wrote a letter to J.R.D. Tata in which you said, and I quote, "You set the highest standards of integrity that I've ever seen in anyone in the manner in which you've conducted yourself." And I think those very same words apply to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this.
Not at all. Thank you.
शो में रतन टाटा ने अपनी शादी और रिलेशनशिप को लेकर कहा था कि ऐसे कई मौके आए थे जब उनकी शादी होने वाली थी, लेकिन हर बार बात न बन सकी। शो में रतन टाटा ने यह भी खुलासा किया था कि लाइफ में उन्हें 4 बार लव हुआ था, लेकिन चारों बार वो नाकामयाब रहे। उन्होंने यह भी बताया था कि आज तक उन्होंने शादी नहीं की और इसका उन्हें कोई मलाल नहीं है। शो में उन्होंने अपनी एक ऐसी लव स्टोरी भी बताई थी जिसे सुनकर हर कोई हैरान रह गया था, क्योंकि उस स्टोरी में विलेन का काम किया था साल 1962 में चीन और भारत की वार ने, जिसके कारण वह लव स्टोरी अधूरी रह गई थी। दरअसल रतन टाटा को एक कंपनी में काम करने के दौरान लॉस एंजल्स में प्यार हुआ था। रतन उस लड़की से शादी भी करने वाले थे, तभी अचानक उन्हें वापस भारत लौटना पड़ा क्योंकि उनकी दादी की तबीयत ठीक नहीं थी। उन्हें इस बात पर पूरा बिलीव था कि जो लड़की उनसे इतना लव करती है वह भी उनके साथ भारत आने के लिए जरूर तैयार हो जाएगी, लेकिन ऐसा न हो सका और रतन को अकेले ही भारत लौटना पड़ा। इस किस्से को लेकर रतन टाटा ने बताया था कि 1962 की भारत चीन लड़ाई के चलते उसके पेरेंट्स उस लड़की के भारत आने के पक्ष में नहीं थे और इस तरह उनका रिलेशन टूट गया और इसी वजह से शादी नहीं हो पाई। दोस्तों, जहां रतन टाटा आज भी सिंगल है, तो वहीं सिमी ग्रेवाल ने मशहूर बिजनेसमैन रवि मोहन से शादी की थी, लेकिन उनकी वह शादी ज्यादा वक्त तक नहीं चल पाई और 10 साल बाद उनका तलाक हो गया। अपने उसी इंटरव्यू में सिमी ने भी अपनी इस शादी के बारे में भी बात की थी। उन्होंने कहा था, जब मेरी शादी हुई थी तब मैं 27 साल की थी। 3 महीने के लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस रिलेशनशिप के बाद मैंने शादी की थी और उसी समय मुझे पता था कि मेरी शादी नहीं चलेगी। हम दो बहुत ही अलग इंसान थे और ये जो सोच है कि शादी के बाद लड़की को अपना घर-बार और काम छोड़ना होगा, यह बहुत ही गलत है। हालांकि सिमी ने यह भी बताया था कि वे आज भी उस फैमिली से जुड़ी हुई हैं। उन्होंने कहा था कि हम दोनों दो बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं, लेकिन एक दूसरे के लिए नहीं बने हैं। हमारी लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस मैरिज थी। हम दोनों ने अलग अलग रहना शुरू कर दिया था। फिर 1 दशक बाद हमारा तलाक हो गया। अच्छी बात यह है कि हमारे बीच में कोई भी मतभेद नहीं था। आज भी मैं उनके परिवार के बहुत करीब हूँ। इस शादी से पहले और रतन टाटा के उनकी लाइफ में आने से पहले भी सिमी ग्रेवाल किसी के लव में पड़ चुकी थी और वह शख्स थे उस समय के जामनगर के महाराजा। हालांकि तब सिमी की उम्र काफी कम थी और उनका यह रिलेशन नादानी की कहानी बनकर रह गया। साल 2013 में एक शो में सिमी ने खुद बताया था कि 17 साल की उम्र में मुझे प्यार हो गया था। वह जामनगर के महाराजा थे और मेरे पड़ोस में रहते थे। हम रिलेशनशिप में थे। उस रिलेशनशिप को पैशनेट रिलेशनशिप कहा जा सकता है। हम 3 साल तक उस रिश्ते में रहे थे। उन्होंने यह भी बताया था कि उस रिलेशनशिप में हमने बहुत सी ऐसी चीजें की जो कि क्रेजी थी, लेकिन वक्त के साथ साथ वह रिलेशन बहुत जुनूनी बन गया। इस बीच रिश्ते में वो पजेसिवनेस भी आ गई थी जो कि मेरे लिए टॉक्सिक बन गया था। हालांकि सिमी ने यह भी कहा था कि उन्होंने मुझे उस वक्त बहुत खूबसूरत पल दिखाए थे। जानवरों की दुनिया, स्पोर्ट्स, फूड, हमने सब कुछ मिलकर साथ किया था। हमने साथ रहते हुए बहुत क्रेजी चीजें की। आज मैं जब पीछे मुड़कर देखती हूँ तो वह सब सोचकर मुस्कुराती हूँ। लेकिन मुझे इस बात का एहसास होता है कि एक पॉजिटिवनेस आपके रिश्तों को कैसे बदल डालती है, जिसके बाद मैं काफी बदल गई। मीडिया रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक सिमी ग्रेवाल फेमस क्रिकेटर मंसूर अली खान पटौदी के साथ भी रिलेशनशिप में रही थी, लेकिन शर्मिला टैगोर के उनकी लाइफ में आने के बाद उन्होंने सिमी से दूरी बना ली थी और उनका रिश्ता टूट गया था। फिलहाल सिमी ग्रेवाल साल 2011 से शोबिज से दूर हैं, लेकिन वह सोशल मीडिया पर काफी एक्टिव रहती हैं।